Welcome everybody to our webinar Wednesday for May. I'm glad to have you here. And just as a reminder, we have all these webinars recorded. You can access them after the fact and watch the videos. You can get the PDFs of the presentations. So we have a nice bank of information. If you have any questions and want to see some of our older work, go to Jamesway homepage, and then you can find the webinars listed there. Each person registered here will get an email in the next day or two that will have a link to this presentation, and so that you can watch it with whoever at a later time. And so we always get asked that, and you will get a link and the PDF of the presentation as well. So during the presentation, down on the bottom of the box there, you'll see the question and answer. Make sure and write your questions in there, type them in whenever. We'll answer them at the very end. This is being translated into Spanish, so down in your box should have an option to go to the interpretation box so you can hear the simultaneous translation into Spanish. Mauricio, you want to fill in a couple things in Spanish real quick?
Yes, sir. Bueno, bienvenidos a todos a este miércoles de webinar con Jamesway. Repito brevemente las palabras que dice el doctor Keith Brownwell. En la parte de abajo ustedes pueden ver un mundito que dice Interpretation. Ahí pueden poner la presentación en español simultáneo para que les quede más fácil. Y recuerden, como siempre, nosotros estaremos compartiendo el PDF de la presentación, los videos en nuestras redes sociales a las personas inscritas. Y en la fase de preguntas, abajo hay una Q y A, como dos burbujas de personas hablando, y ahí pueden hacer sus preguntas que serán respondidas al final de la charla. Bienvenidos nuevamente.
Thank you. All right. So our speaker today is Vanny Hardiano. He is a consultant, hatchery specialist consultant with us, lives in Indonesia. He's lived different places, other part of the world. He's got a wealth of experience, a very technical oriented consultant, and get high praises in the places he's gone and been. So look forward to hearing Vanny speak to us today about ventilation and the things that he has seen. He's done a lot of different things, not only ventilation, but anyway, so looking forward to having Vanny here. I'm Dr. Keith Brownwell with Jamesway, Vanny Hardiano with Jamesway as well as a consultant. And I will turn the time over to you, Vanny, if you want to share your screen, and we'll get going here.
Okay, thank you, Keith. I will share my screen. So, can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for everyone who attend the webinar from around the world. I will present about the ventilation today. Okay. There are a few topics that I want to talk about. The first is the importance of the ventilation for the hatchery. And the second one is about the various kind of ventilation and how is the performance. And the last is maintenance, and something that are often overlooked when carry out the maintenance at the hatchery. So I will start with the first one. When we talk about the ventilation, it's just like a fuel for the machines. Like in the car, when you feel good quality of the fuel to your car, it will resulting good performance, and also vice versa. Excuse me. Like the fuel, we are expecting that the ventilation will provide an ideal environment for the embryos. It will provide an ideal supply fresh air for oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange with the ideal temperature and humidity. Oxygen is a vital nutrient for the embryo. Oxygen consumption increases proportionally as the embryo develops. You can see as the embryo consume more oxygen, it will produce more carbon dioxide. The hatchability can be dropped about 5% for each 1% drop from the standard oxygen content, or let's say below the 25%. You know, the carbon dioxide is a natural byproduct of metabolic process during the embryonic development. Younger embryos will have a lower tolerance on the carbon dioxide level than the older one. A total embryo mortality can be occurs at 5% of carbon dioxide inside the machine. You can see here the data of gas exchange volume during the incubation period. We continue with the temperature. Temperature become a function that requires to control. The ideal temperature for the incubation room are about 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, or it's about 25 to 28 Fahrenheit. At the beginning phase, we call the endothermic phase. The embryo will require higher air temperature. And at the end phase, we call exothermic phase, which is the embryo will require a lower air temperature. You can see the heat production on the graph. So we need to maintain the ideal temperature inside the machine to have a good environment for the embryo development. Here the illustration for heat production as the embryo develops. At the beginning phase, less heat produced, and the last phase is more heat production. Next is humidity. Humidity also become a function that requires to control. The ideal humidity for incubation room are about 45 to 55% relative humidity for the setter room, I mean, and it's about 50 to 60% for the hatchery room. As the embryo develops, it is expected that the internal egg moisture will be decreased to get the best quality of chicks. And here are the illustration of the moisture loss during the incubation period. This picture is an example when you have very high humidity outside. You can see the blue color is external moisture on the supply air condition, and the amber color is the internal egg moisture. So when you have high humidity outside, it's not easy to remove internal egg moisture. So you will have very less moisture loss during incubation. And here is the picture or example when you have a very low relative humidity outside. You can see very less blue color. It means very low humidity from the air supply. and it will remove a lot of internal egg moisture, and it will cause over moisture loss during the incubation. Here are the ideal example picture of the ideal relative humidity. It's not so much blue color or not so much moisture from the supply air. It will remove enough the egg moisture. So when you candle the eggs at transfer day, you can see the size of the air cell. Less moisture loss will cause too small air cell, and more moisture loss will cause too big air cell. And it will affect to your chick quality. The size of the air cell will reflect the size of the chicks produced. Eggs with too small air cell will produce big chicks that are weak because too much water content on the body. This kind of chicks will not easy to move when you place it in the hen house. They will not eat, they will not drink because of that condition. On the other side, when the egg cell too big, it will produce small chicks with dehydration condition. It will cause high mortality during the rearing period in the hen house. So we continue with the various kind of ventilation and about the performance. A long time ago, most of hatchery in the world uses evaporative cooler as their ventilation system. Mostly when the use of single stage incubator, this kind of ventilation is not popular. I mean, people move to another kind of the ventilation system. You know, the advantage of this ventilation system, it's like low energy consumption. But you know, as the incubator machine technology develops, ventilation system also develop to suit the needs of those incubator machines. Now, this kind of ventilation system very rarely used in hatchery because it's not suitable anymore for the, especially for the place with high temperature and high humidity. And the other things, it will not effective to reducing the high temperature at the hot place. I still found a few hatcheries using this kind of ventilation system, but you know, the performance is also are not good enough. They got bad quality of chicks because of too high humidity issue. In the following time period, refrigerated air handling unit or the air condition unit starting to be widely used. This system can meet the temperature and humidity requirement for the incubators. But because of this ventilation uses on and off cooling system, it will resulting unstable temperature and humidity in the incubator room. A few years back, we introduced a complete climate control system for the hatchery. It's called the Airway CC3. This machine is like a plant room in the box. It's equipped with the modulating valve for cooling, heating, and also for the heat recovery coil, which can produce a more stable temperature and humidity. It's the most important things from this ventilation system. It also featured with the dehumidification system. So it really help, especially like in the places with a very high humidity outside. It can reduce a lot of humidity from the environment. This machine will also provide chilled water and hot water for the incubator. And it will utilize the return water for the heat recovery coil. So it will save the energy consumption for the chillers. The actual return water from the incubator about 28 to 34 degrees Celsius, and it will drop about 15 to 18 degrees Celsius after the heat recovery coil. So to reduce the water temperature, let's say from 18 to 13 is not really hard job for the chillers. So if comparing with the from 34 to 13 degrees Celsius is quite hard job for the chillers. Not only ventilate the incubator rooms, this system also provide the ventilation for the egg room and also the processing room. And the other ventilation system is, we call it airway modular. The airway modular are quite similar with the CC3. It's just like a breakdown of the CC3. The air handling unit, pump, boiler, and other equipments are installed separately. This will make this system are quite easy to, or we can say this more expandable. Next is the airway rooftop. The airway rooftop unit is a smaller capacity of air handling unit. These functions are quite similar with the CC3 and the modular too. There are cooling coil, heat recovery coil, and also heating coil mounted inside the unit. But it's designed and customized for each room independently. So for example, you will have two setter room, two hatcher room. You will need 4 of rooftop unit. Here are the difference of we can see the graph on the picture. When you have the conventional air condition for the egg storage and comparing with the egg store system managed by the airway system, you can see the picture on the right side. The temperature is swinging between 17 to 23 degrees Celsius, and maybe sometimes more. Also, the humidity, the blue color, also the humidity is also swinging. But in the left side, you can see the graph is more stable. The black color is temperature and blue color is humidity. Next is the comparison for the incubator room. On the right side, there are two rooms temperature recorded, but it's without the humidity recorded. The temperature are also swinging between 21 to 29 degrees Celsius. But you can see the left side, it's still a little bit swinging, but quite more stable. If you see the graph, it's about the room temperature is about 23 to 25 degrees Celsius. Sorry, the data is in degrees Celsius. Our ventilation system also has a recording system. It will record all of data like temperature, humidity, pressure, or even the fan speed or the pump speed. So we can trace back when we have an issue with our performance. Here the sample data, the yellow color is the humidity, and the green color is temperature. Red color is the room pressure, and the blue one is plenum pressure. But when your hatchery does not equip with the automatic recording system, I will suggest to have a manual recording. So when in case you have issue with the performance, it's will be easier for you to trace. We continue with the maintenance. You know what is the reason for the maintenance in our ventilation system? Because we want consistency in the temperature, in the humidity, and also the amount of fresh air supply entered to the hatchery. Consistency in the fresh air will lead to the uniformity in the incubation environment. Ventilation system are running for 24/7 and almost never stop. I know many hatcheries doing a good, very good preventive maintenance on the incubators, but most of them are like forgot about the ventilation maintenance. Here are the several important things in the ventilation system that must be maintained regularly. We start with the belt. Yeah, maybe not all ventilation system has a belt or pulley, but when you have it, you need to check regularly. And then the main blower, the air filtration, the duct and insulation, fresh air supply damper, the compressor for the chiller or the refrigerated air handling unit, evaporative coil, condenser fan, heat exchanger for the boiler, igniter and pilot for the boiler, combustion blower for the boiler, gas pressure regulator for the boiler, condensation water drain for the air handling unit, and maybe the air condition, room or plenum exhaust fan, sensors cleanliness and the function, water pump system cleanliness, water valve condition. We start with the belt and pulley. When you see the dry belt, especially when it has been a crack, you need to replace it immediately. Also, when you see the groove or worn pulleys, it will make your belt damage more easily. The belt should be adjusted to the right tension. I believe each equipment will have a standard on their belt tension, but you can also feel when to adjust it. It should be not too tight or not too loose. You can also check the motor amperes. It will indicate when your ampere is too high, it means your belt too tight. The two pulleys should be aligned to prevent the premature failure. The main blower or for the air handling unit fan, it should be visually inspected regularly to ensure it is not warped or that any of the curved fins have been damaged. This will cause reduction in air supply to the rooms. The blower should be cleaned regularly to remove build-up of static dirt on the fin edge. This also causes great reduction in airflow and the blower's ability to produce correct static pressure. The air filter should always clean. In our ventilation system, there is a pressure or a manometer gauge that indicate the cleanliness of the air filter. So when the pressure going high, it means your filter is dirty already. Please use the air filter that meets the specification for the ventilation system. Do not reuse air filter that has been cleaned to prevent leaks, because usually when you have a filter already clean, it will be damaged and it will be have a leakage. A leaking on the air filter will cause dust or dirt to enter between the aluminum fins coil and make it difficult to clean. The air filter that does not meet the specification also will cause dust to enter the aluminum fin coil. Here are the example when the dust enter to the aluminum fin coil. When it going deeper, because sometimes the cooling coil is quite thick. So when the dust is going deeper, it's really difficult to clean it. Sometimes the double filtration will be necessary. Maybe some case like in the desert, a lot of dust, so you will need a double filtration. Here are good example of using the air intake room before the ventilation unit. The intake room will provide a clean air for the ventilation unit because it's equipped with the air filter also. I have seen a customer that they also made the intake room and they use a cell deck to cooling down the temperature because the outside temperature is quite high. So they try to cooling down the temperature before it enter to ventilation unit. But you should remember if you use this kind of intake room with the cell decks, it will produce more moisture. So your ventilation system will be doing a hard job to low down the humidity. We need to check the duct as well. You know, when the hatchery has a pest control issue and the rat coming into the hatchery, they will damage everything. One of the issue is with the aluminum flexible duct. And also sometimes the rats also catch the duct insulation. When you have a leaking or insulation issue, you will have energy loss. Here are the example picture when the hatchery maintenance guy checking the duct. Okay, next is the modulating damper. The modulating damper are typically built into the supply adapting to each incubation room. The modulating function allows to control room pressure to ensure the adequate airflow for the incubation equipment. The damper is mounted inside the duct and should be regularly checked for full operation and sanitation. The inability to control room pressure or airflow can get greatly affect to the hatchability and chick quality. Also, the excessive pressure or airflow can cause high energy consumption as well. The actuator that powers the damper is mounted externally on it's out of the air supply duct. It should be calibrated for full range of operation. Calibrated for the closed position and the open position. With the refrigerated air handling unit or the air condition, or maybe also chiller, we have to check the refrigerant pressure regularly. Lack of refrigerant pressure will cause a lack of cooling power for the unit. On the evaporative and the condenser coil also need to check regularly to ensure the coil always clean. It's quite similar with the fins coil in the air handling unit. But you need to be careful with the aluminum aluminum fin coil that may be damaged during the maintenance. The condenser fan blades also need to clean during the maintenance. Remove the dirt on the fan blades can keep a good air suction to remove the heat from the condenser, and it will affect to the cooling power of the unit itself. Next is the boiler. So when you have a electric boiler, you need to check the heater element. But before talking about that, I will, when you have boiler in your hatchery, you need to pay attention about it. For example, when you have a platinum incubator with the hot water system, and also Avida setter with the hot water system, the hot water will affect to the warm up period during the setting eggs. When the incubation temperature begins, it's necessary to speed up to reach to the set point. The sooner incubation temperature set point reach, the more uniform egg temperature will be. So this way you will get a narrower hatch window. With the electric boiler, you have to ensure all heater elements works by checking the amperes. The temperature controller also very important for electric boiler. So when the temperature controller fall, the boiler will not work. With the gas boiler, you have to check the igniter and pilot, the heat exchanger, combustion blower, and also the gas pressure regulator. When one of these function failed, the gas boiler will not work. Usually, each of a boiler manufacturer give the gas pressure specification, and you have to follow the specification. This is the example of a gas boiler. You can see there is a combustion blower, pilot valve, gas supply there, and also the electronic controller, and the pipe where is the water in and out. We continue with the condensation water drain, on especially in the air handling unit. When I do customer visit, a lot of them does not pay attention of this thing. So improper drain pipe will cause water trap inside the pan. So when the water trap and go to like unwanted area inside the unit, it can damage everything. You see here the left picture. So when I open the doors, suddenly a huge amount of water going out from the unit. This trapped water already damaged many things inside. You can see a lot of metal become rusty. And the picture in the center is a typical wrong drain pipe. And the right one is how it should be. We continue with the exhaust fan. Here are the sample picture of dirty exhaust fan, mostly on the hatcher plenums and chick processing room will have this condition. The longer the dirt are not clean, the more organic material will stick and stay there. So when it happen, especially on the hatcher plenums, it will affect to the airflow inside the machine, and your chick will experience lack of oxygen. But the worst case is when it happen, you will have issue with bacteria contamination. Normally at the setter plenums, there are not much dirt stick on the fans, but you still need to clean it regularly. Next is the sensor cleanliness. Again, this mostly also happen at the hatcher rooms and plenum, and also the chick processing room. The dirty sensor will affect to the reading of the sensor, and when it happen for a long time, it can damage the sensors. One more thing can be happen in the hatchery when you have a bad pest control system. You will have issue with the wire. Electric wire or sensor wires can be damaged by the rats or even other animals. It will be more dangerous when it happen on the electrical wire. A short circuit can burn the hatchery. The water pump should be checked and cleaned regularly. So the improper cooling on the pump will damage the coil or the winding inside. When the pumps are controlled by the variable frequency drive, it is also important to keep the cooling fan always clean, because improper cooling on the VFD, it will cause damage on VFD itself, and it's quite costly. And here is the water modulating valve. It is very important also to always check the function of the valve. The actuator or the valve mechanism should always be in good condition. Failure in modulating valve will cause air temperature, humidity cannot reach to set point. And sure, it will affect to hatchery performance. Maintenance recording are very important. Maintenance is a job where you do it right, but no one is sure you did anything. The checklist will help you list out the job to be done, and also to show that you have done the correct job. A spare part replacement during the maintenance should be recorded as well. It will help you to check and plan the parts purchase and keep the parts always ready in stock. And one more thing is the calibration recording. You will easily decide to continue using the sensors, or you have to replace the sensor by checking the history of calibration. When the offset is going very high, it indicates that you need to replace the sensor. This picture is the example of maintenance checklist for the ventilation, I mean. We come to the conclusion. Ventilation are very important to provide the ideal environment for the hatchery. So choosing the type of ventilation is very important in order to provide the ideal environment for the hatchery and maintain a stable performance. But also energy efficiency is one of criteria in determining which ventilation to be used in hatchery. Maintenance of the ventilation system are very important to avoid unwanted downtime during the operation. This is important to maintain a consistent temperature, humidity, and the amount of airflow required on the fresh air supply to the hatchery. Maintenance recording will help on a preventive maintenance schedule, and it will also help to manage the spare part availability. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Vanny. That was very good. A lot of good information there. And as we know, ventilation is critically important to our success of our hatcheries. We've had a couple of presentations on that last month and as well as this month because it is so important. Okay, Vanny, so couple of questions in here. One's from one of your native people in Indonesia. Just saying, how do you adjust the humidity in the tropical areas like Indonesia, but other places that is very tropical and humid? How do you manage that in that hatchery?
Yeah, I think that's what I mentioned about choosing a correct ventilation system. It depends on the ability of the equipment. Is it can reduce the humidity, outside humidity or not?
I mean, how would they go about it? What's the best way in your opinion?
Yeah, like our ventilation system, it works like we cool down the temperature first, so it will block the moisture from outside, and then we heat up with the heat recovery or even with the hot water system.
Okay.
So you will got a proper humidity.
Can we use the modulating valve in the air handling unit? Can it be used effectively to maintain a constant temperature, proper temperature?
Yes. You know, I have show you the graph that our system, which is uses the modulating valve, it can maintain a stable temperature and humidity. So, when you have a on-off system, like in the air condition or we can say refrigerated air handling unit, it depends on your offset, how many degree the cooling will be on and how many degree the cooling will be off. So some of the ventilation system, we are not able to change the differential temperature between on and off. Some of them are we can adjust it, but mostly not easy to adjust the differential on and off. So it will affect the stability of the temperature.
If somebody is getting averaging about a 69% chick yield, I mean, what would you recommend to do in their hatchery if they're not happy with that?
Yeah, it depends on the data. Again, when you have the recorded data like temperature and humidity in the rooms, you can check is it enough humidity in the rooms. If it's too low, then you need to maybe install like a humidifier to increase the humidity in the room. But if the humidity in the room is enough, maybe you need to adjust your damper profile or your temperature profile, so it will get or even you can adjust the incubation time, so you will get proper moisture loss.
So yeah, so we're just trying to get a little bit more moisture loss in there to get that ideal.
Yeah.
What about like when you talked about a lot of ventilation in the hatchery and the facilities, which as we all know is incredibly important. What about the airflow and conditions in an egg holding room? What are your recommendations for that?
You mean in the egg holding room?
Like in the egg storage, egg holding room, while they're waiting to go in the incubators. Not
Yeah,
pre-warming, just your holding room.
Okay. Most of the egg holding room is just recirculating the air inside the room. So we are not blowing fresh air from the outside. So we just need to recirculate the air inside the room, and we can control the pressure like neutral or even maybe negative to prevent contamination from outside. Sorry, it should be a positive.
Um, can the humidity be lowered with equipment that is not part of the ventilation system? Say somebody's got an existing ventilation system and they need to lower humidity. What can they use without changing, our whole ventilation, like a whole new CC3 or something?
Yeah, it's not easy to low down the humidity in the environment. Very easy for us to increase or to add the moisture on the environment by spraying the water. But I don't know, is there any way to low down the temperature, the humidity without a dehumidifier?
And in different regions of the world, there's different there's accessibility to different things and equipment and stuff like that. So there are options and things we can do outside of that. And we have a lot of people that do that, have to make modifications, moving in the future or something to an existing hatchery.
I've seen one customer they installed the dehumidifier inside the setter room, so it little bit help.
Yeah, you can do different things
Yeah.
around there. What if somebody's got older multi-stage incubators, what's the best way to keep the right pressure and temperature? And again, it's an older facility with existing equipment. So what would you say is the best way to try and keep that pressure and temperature and humidity?
Yeah, I know a lot of very old hatchery around the world. Yeah, but most of them actually they are moved to a new ventilation system. They install the a plenum. They have a proper insulated room, so they can control the air pressure in the room or the plenum. But without tight room or tight plenum, it's quite difficult to control the pressure.
If we've got so somebody's an existing hatchery, they've got setter room temperature doesn't get up to the temperature that the other rooms do with their existing air handling unit. What would you recommend they do? So they've got rooms that are not reaching, some rooms reaching temperature and conditions and some not.
Is it uses the same ventilation unit, or is it different?
It's saying using one air handling unit for the entire hatchery.
Yeah, in our ventilation system, we have option with the duct coil. We have duct heating coil and duct cooling coil. So with this addition, we can easily maintain temperature inside the room. So what they can do, probably also can do the same thing to just add another cooling coil for individual room.
Okay. How often should people do the maintenance of their hatchery machines and ventilation system? I mean, all of them are a little bit different, but what's your general recommendations for hatcheries as far as preventative maintenance?
When I visit customer, I always recommend to do a monthly checking. So during the checking, you can do a big job or just small job. But the most important is you need to check monthly. So it's it will help a lot to keep your equipment work and standard.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. There's a few other questions that we can deal with directly. They're a little bit more specific and we can cover a little bit more topics. But thank you, Vanny, for presentation. A lot of really good information there. And again, you'll all be able to receive a PDF of this so you can review it later. You can watch the video and review it later, because there's a lot of good information. I know I'll be looking over it myself as well. Again, because you did a really good job of putting things together. And when we know that the ventilation is so important. So thank you, Vanny, for your comments. Thank you, everybody that attended. And look for us next month. We'll be having a discussion on hatchery from Sue Ann Hubbard from Avigen Independent. She'll be speaking to us next month. So look for that. And again, thank you, everybody, and look forward to seeing you again. Bye. Thank you, Vanny.
Thank you.